Thank you for joining us today. Today we will be discussing Microsoft Office products. This is the second of 4 sessions. And today, 4 sessions focusing on the Office suite. Today we will cover as much as possible, but our topic today, we will focus on Microsoft Excel. The 3 areas we will point out include some new features, some helpful features, and then we'll go over some commonly used features that you should or could be using already. Before we begin, as usual, let's learn a little more about Opal Business Solutions. Opal has approximately 20 team members with a wide variety of technical expertise and certifications. Opal is also a Silver Enterprise Partner and CSP with Microsoft. Opal strives hard to serve as an extension of your team, helping you to design and deliver technology solutions to help you anticipate and overcome business challenges. With 2 offices on the East Coast, Opal provides quick and reliable products and services throughout the United States. Opal was able to provide one stop for your technology needs, whether looking for enterprise-level hardware, SMB equipment, or even certified pre-owned. Opal can provide the equipment to meet your needs. Opal also provides CSP licensing on Microsoft applications, while also customizing any software to meet your needs. Finally, Opal's network services team provides the expertise and knowledge to design, upgrade, and support your entire infrastructure. With Opal's team monitoring and maintaining your network, you will have the latest security protection and meet the industry-verified compliances you need. Without further delay, I'm Jay Hess, Vice President of Opal Business Solutions. Let's begin our presentation. Many of you are anxious to learn about the tips, tricks, and features within Microsoft Excel. So let's go ahead and start this presentation. The first topic is something called Insights. With Insights, you want to think of this as a solution for those of us who know what we want to see, but maybe don't know how to achieve this. Now there's Insights. Microsoft has created functionality to quickly insert charts and graphs of your data with ease. To access this functionality, you click on at least one cell in an existing range of data, then select Insert from the top ribbon menu, then Insights, then insert the chart, and you have the new chart added without having to guess how to configure the chart or graph. In the past, after you choose your chart, you'd have to determine what values go where, what are you trying to see. Now it's easy with Insights. You know what you want to see, you just don't know how to do it. Let Microsoft do all the heavy lifting for you. Since we're talking about the insert functionality, let's talk about inserting funnels, 2D map charts. Once again, you need to highlight at least one cell of your data. It seems to become a standard within Excel, right? You'll go ahead, click Insert from the ribbon again. Then instead of selecting Insights, we're going to go ahead and select Recommended Charts. We also have the capability to go right into the maps if we'd like to or not, but in this case, we're going to select Recommended Charts. Now we're going to go ahead and see some options that will become available. And we'll select those options based on our selection. And in this case, we want to see the 2D map chart there, which will allow us to fill in certain information. And by clicking OK, this allows our map to be inserted into our document where we can see it right next to our data. This is the same step for funnel charts. So instead of selecting funnel, or recommended charts, we can go ahead and select maps. Or I'm sorry, funnels instead of maps. One of the initiatives behind moving Microsoft applications to a more cloud service-oriented platform is to fully integrate all the applications together. So using geographic and stock data as an example here, it's the first step in integrating Bing and Excel. Bing being Microsoft's search engine, and Excel, which we're going over today, part of the Office suite. So let's take a quick look. Once again, you want to make sure that you have data and then select the data. And then we're going to go ahead and click data. Data will go ahead from our ribbon menu, we'll click data. And from there, we can see that there's stocks and geography. Those are the two types we're talking about right now. So we go ahead and we select either stocks or geography. After you've made your selection, you'll see an icon that appears to the left side of your next blank column. And because you selected either stock or geographic data, you'll see a long list of available data fields that will apply here. And you can select that to populate into the next column. So for England, Japan, Netherlands, United States, India, if we want to see the capital of those in the next column, we go ahead and we select capital, and it will display the capitals right then and there. So if it's states or something like that, such as Pennsylvania, we would be able to see the capital of Pennsylvania listed, and it would say Harrisburg. If you click on the icon to the left of your data element, such as India, you'll be able to utilize a search engine or a Bing lookup that will grab data and facts about that region, such as from Wikipedia. So here you can see that we select the icon to the left of the data element, and it goes ahead and it will display information from Wikipedia about India. We can see the capital is New Delhi and so forth. So Bing is utilizing the information that's there, as well as the resources that are out on the web, to go ahead, grab that data, and pull it right into Excel. You don't have to go looking for this information anymore. Once again, this is Microsoft's initiative to pulling all of their tools and resources into one platform without having to leave any of their applications. The next topic we will focus on is new capability within the functions. One area of functions required a ton of typing was if you were assigning values like grades to scores. So in other words, if you had a greater than 89 or a greater than 69, you might want to give it a specific value or grade. So the if function that existed was often limited in that it's rigid. In other words, it was just a yes-no analysis, and there was no way to specify multiple conditions except by nesting the multiple if functions. And that's kind of what you got here. So if we assigned a ton of grades, we would create something that looked like the formula that's on the screen now. And if any of you have had to do something like this, you'll know that you went through and you did the if this field, whatever's in this field, is greater than 89, give it an A. And then you'd have to go through and do if it's in that field and is greater than 79, give it a B. And you walk through that whole process. And then at the very end, you have to go and figure out, did I put enough closing parentheses on this? And when these get quite long and large, it became very difficult to monitor and count the exact closing parentheses. With the new functionality, the new ifs function, so we add an S after if, it elevates multiple conditions and returns values depending on whether or not they're met. It helps the if statements become simple. So as you can see by the formula on the screen now, we've done the exact same thing that we did above, but you notice there's an open paren, a closed paren. As simple as that. And then in between, we're just using a series of commas. And because we've added that S after if, it knows that it's a string. So think of it as an if string. So if S, and then put your string in there. You can also use this new functionality to do ranges. You can get that data to get a range of data and use it to get a maximum and minimum value by simply adding the max ifs statement. So you're saying max if string, and you're putting that string in there. So we can see the formulas on the screen right now. If we wanted to get the maximum value for the fields A2 to A7, B2 to B7, and then the minimum A2 to A7, B2 to B7. We can go ahead and calculate that simply by putting a max and a min. Once again, don't have to do a long set of strings. We've already talked about some of the charts earlier. I showed you some maps and talked a little bit about funnel charts. But we're quickly going to identify some other new charts that are in Excel, show you those, and just give you an idea of how they're there, what they're being used for, and so forth. The first one is the sunburst. The sunburst is a multi-level hierarchical pie or donut chart. The innermost ring is the highest level, and then you work your way outward to the lowest level. So we can see here Q1, March, and then the different weeks within March and Q1. The next one is what they call a tree map, and I really can't explain why they named it a tree. They say it looks like a tree. I don't really see it at all. To me, it looks more like a regular or rectangular pie chart. And you can see the information here. So it's kind of like using a pie chart, but it comes out in a rectangular format. So you can see Q1, Q2. The next one is box and whisker. This one probably takes some more advanced understanding on how it works. So hopefully this is one that you're either going to try to get familiar with a little bit more, or you've already used in the past. But in simplest terms, it shows the spread and skew within an ordered set of data. The box and whisker is good for data that, once again, you want to show within a span that particular skew of the data that is within a particular order set. We talked a little bit about the funnel earlier. The funnel is a good way for data that gets progressively larger or smaller within each of those data points. So we can see here that Tennessee had 60 all the way down to West Virginia, which had 10, and we can see that it breaks it down in a nice orderly fashion, creating a funnel, highest to lowest. And then finally, we have the filled map. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but that enables you to place values on a map according to nations, states, counties, zip codes, regions, and so forth. You could even take it if the map's a little bit smaller, and based on the legend to the right, you can take that and actually overlay it right into the countries themselves. So for, it looks like, just looking at this, you have some countries in there that you could take, like Australia, which has 12. You would see the 12 right on top of Australia if you wanted to change it to be specifically right on top. Excel, as you can see, is a great source for storing, collecting data, and using that data. But the next step with that is to take that data and analyze the data. In comes Power BI. You can now publish directly to Power BI from Excel if you have a Power BI license. To do that, you select your file, and go to the File tab in your ribbon, and then it'll take you into a new window or a new menu structure where you can go ahead and select Publish, Publish to Power BI. Go ahead and choose your options, and it's that easy to publish it up to Power BI. So you can do a drop down and publish to my workspace or different Power BI instances you have. Now we're going to look at features hopefully you are or at least should be using. The first are these pivot tables. Some people may be familiar with them, some may not. But when it comes to pivot tables, the best rule of thumb is to let the application make recommendations for you until you get familiar with them. So once again, the technology and the artificial intelligence that Microsoft is building within their products continues to grow and develop, and this is just another way they're doing that. Just like we allowed Excel to recommend charts to us, we are allowing them to recommend how to build those pivot tables. And in order to do this, it's really a simple process. You want to go ahead, select your data field, and then click Insert at the top of your ribbon. And once you click Insert, you will go ahead and see a number of different options across the top in the ribbon. You want to select Recommend Pivot Tables. And once we've selected Recommended Pivot Tables, you'll notice the options become almost limitless, really, based on your data. So you can see the different types of recommended pivot tables to the left and how it would be displayed and so forth on the right with a little more detailed information. You go ahead and choose the one you want, select OK, and it will start building that pivot table. If you'd like, you can also create a blank pivot table for yourself as well. There are little improvements that are being made for your convenience. For example, I mentioned a little bit about the blank pivot table, but you can also now personalize the pivot table layout. So you can change that layout. The pivot table feature also now can detect relationships among the tables and detect time groups. And then you can also drill down into pivot charts now with particular drill down buttons within the pivot tables. So there's, like I said, little improvements that just help make pivot tables more and more convenient for users. Conditional formatting is another good standby with which to be familiar. This is a good way to change color of fields by setting conditions to be met, adding icons, different data bars, whatever it might be. For instance, if you change fields to red if the inventory is too low, or if you have revenue data and it gets too low, you can change it to yellow as a warning or red. In other words, this changes the format of a cell dependent upon the content of that cell, or even a range of cells, or maybe even another cell or cells that are in a workbook. The functionality is found by simply going into Home across the top ribbon and selecting Conditional Formatting, which is highlighted in gray here, and then select your desired option. And as you can see, you can highlight cell rules to greater than, less than, between, duplicate values, dates occurring, and then you can choose icon sets, color scales, data bars, and so forth. And they're continuously adding more and more functionality to the conditional formatting. Sorting and filtering are as common as mosquitoes in the Everglades. When you sort or filter information in a worksheet, you're able to quickly organize that data and find values quickly. That's what you want to be able to do. That's going to save you time, going to give you a little more peace of mind, less stress, and we all know that time is money, and being less stressed out is very helpful. To access the sorting and filtering functionality, you want to go ahead and go to data, then either select your sort, either ascending or descending, or select filtering. When using filtering, you will get some blank fields that you will complete that are required, and then you can filter your data based on the selection that you entered into those fields. On to basic math. As children, we are taught to add values together, like 1 plus 1. Then we learn to subtract those values, multiply them, and divide, so it becomes 1 minus 1, 1 times 1, 1 divided by 1. Those same basic math formulas can be completed within Excel for you. Just add the formula in the functions box for a given field, and Excel will do the math. In order to perform the basic mathematical operations, we use certain operators. So if we wanted to add the values in column A1 or field A1 in field A2, we would use the plus sign. If we wanted to subtract those values, we would use the minus. To multiply, we use the asterisk, and for division, we use the forward slash. Finally, we will discuss mixed charts. Mixed type or combination charts combine two styles of charts, such as a column chart or a bar chart and a line chart. This format is often helpful when you have two different types of information or a range of values that have a great variation, and you want to show that in one chart. In order to do that, or to access this functionality, you want to go to Insert and select the Combo Report icon. As you can see, I've blown that out, highlighted it so it really stands out. And that will enable you to show two types of charts right on into one combination chart. At this time, I'm going to look to see if we have any chat questions that I can read and answer aloud that maybe have been submitted throughout the presentation. I know we had some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure we will have any, which it does not look like we have any this time. So remember to look for our monthly newsletter. That's sent the fourth week of the month, as well as our Microsoft emails, which are sent the first week of the month, in order to keep up to date on the latest tips and features that we have and we are presenting. Thank you, and please remember to look for this video and other videos on our Opal YouTube channel. Thank you for your time today, and have a nice day.